So I just got back from the grocery store and I wanted to tell you guys about my trip, mostly because I experienced what I could call maybe just a small, minuscule, bite size, what I would say, panic attack. What's up, VIPs? Derek here, back with another video. And yeah, I was at the grocery store and had what I can only call a panic attack. Now, I will say that I don't have a huge history of panic attacks, but I've had them in the past, and it usually happens when I'm in a crowd of people, especially in an unfamiliar area, although I've been to this grocery store many times, so it wasn't unfamiliar. But it's just sort of in that moment where I feel sort of boxed in and crowded in. So I wanted to kind of talk about it from my own vantage point and give you a few tips and tricks on how to work through it in the moment. By the way, if you're new around here, my name is Derek and I help people just like you to discover life after sight loss. Here we do product reviews, we talk life advice, encouragement, how-tos, and so much more. So if all that sounds good to you, I'd love for you to consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss another single video. Now, like I said, I was in a pretty familiar place, but there was a bigger crowd of people. So we were walking through the grocery store, which we've been to many times. I was with my wife, and we were walking through, and I was, whatever. My wife gets the stuff, and I'm just kind of there for the ride. I'm like, hey, did you get this? What about this? That sort of thing. Well, at one point, I just realized, because it didn't really change, but I realized there was a lot more people in this grocery store. And this is a smaller grocery store. So there's a lot more people than I realized. And I was like, gosh, it's a pretty big crowd today. And my wife's like, yeah, it's a lot of people. Well, again, it wasn't like there was more people in those 10 seconds all of a sudden than I had noticed before. It was just I hadn't noticed. So all of a sudden, I just kind of got, I don't know. The best way to describe it, I felt kind of like the walls were closing in a little bit. And it's not like they were literally closing in, but just I kind of went inside myself and I was holding onto the cart and kind of, maneuvering my hands on the cart. And you know how you do when you feel a little panicked, you kind of are squeezing and you feel that stress ball that's kind of what I was doing. And I was just standing there and kind of feeling my heart and trying to focus on things, and my mind was racing and that sort of thing. And again, I didn't feel like I was going to die. I kind of recognize, sometimes when panic attacks, you can feel like you're going to die. It's no joke. But I kind of knew it wasn't that. I just was trying to recognize it. So here's kind of the things I did or have done to try to overcome those moments. Now, you can't just stop a panic attack dead in its tracks. At least I can't. And so I just kind of wanted to give you some ideas for in the moment what you might want to do, or at least might try if you're experiencing what you might think is a panic attack. First of all, it's important to kind of be aware what's going on. And if you think it's a panic attack, just try to tell yourself, okay, this is just a panic attack. This is just a moment where I'm experiencing some anxiety, some pressure, some frustration, whatever the case might be, and take a few deep breaths. Now, it's real simple, like take a deep breath, everything's going to be fine, don't worry. I understand it's a little easier said than done, but stop, get over to a corner, get to the side, and try to take a few deep breaths. Okay, tell yourself that things are going to be all right. Take that moment to rest. Even if it makes you late for something, even if it puts you behind, whatever, take a minute and take those deep breaths and tell yourself, hey, this is going to be all right. Secondly, if you're with somebody else, especially another sighted person, just grab onto their arm or stay close to them, because if you're in a crowd of people, then a lot of times what happens is you're panicked because people are coming this way and that way, and you can't figure out where they're coming from. Especially if you have some residual sight left, you're trying to figure it out, but your sight just won't allow it. And so you're kind of panicked, or people coming from behind me, that sort of thing. And so I would just encourage you, get to that sighted person, hold on to their arm, and just walk with them. They might think, what's going on? But it's like, just trust me. Now, if they know what's going on, okay, you're with me. Stay close to them. That way they can lead you around, that sort of thing, If you're using a cane, if you're using a guide dog, some sort of mobility tool, make sure you have it out. It's prominent. It's there so people recognize it and they're trying to avoid you. But stay close to your sighted friend if you're with somebody. If you're not with anyone and you've taken a few breaths and you're still having difficulty, remember, it's okay just to leave the situation. It's better to walk out of the situation and catch your breath and try to do it again than to just remain and barrel on through, because you might end up, just having a freak out, and that would not be good. Maybe you won't make it through that day. Maybe this grocery run just won't be a good one. And it's like, I only got half the items because I was freaking out. Because let's face it, it's hard to focus whenever you're having a panic attack. It's hard to just really get that mindset in. Okay, what's this? What am I supposed to get? Using a magnifier. It can be hard to focus. So don't be afraid just to walk away and try it again in a few minutes, or try it again the next day. There's nothing wrong with that. Find your way out and exit the situation. Another thing I did, and this probably seems counterproductive for a visually impaired person, but I put, I have I have two. I have AirPods, so I put one of them in my ear and turned some music on and tried to let that music sort of drown out the white noise of all these people walking around and everything, and help me to focus a little bit. My wife talking to me, which she wasn't doing anything bad, but you know, she's talking, and then you've got people over here, and you got people walking by on your side, and this, and behind you. Sometimes it's just hard to regain focus. So I put in some music that I like, and it can be anything, you know, whatever it is, you know, hard rock or instrumental or whatever, just whatever you like, stick it in there and just kind of let it help you focus. Now, it might be counterproductive because you're taking away at least half of one of your senses that you have left. Some people say, no, that's impossible. Don't do that. If it's going to cause you danger or, you know, put you in a less place to be good at your O&M, obviously don't do that. But if you can be in a place where you're with somebody else, and like I was holding onto the cart, my wife was pulling it, I can put it in my ear and help me to focus on that. So that's just an idea. Again, take it at a case-by-case basis, because if it blocks you from, you know, being able to be mobile, don't do that. But if it helps you out, that's another good thing to help you gain focus. And finally, it probably wouldn't hurt to carry something like a stress ball, like something you can squish. My daughter has this ice cream cone thing, and we call it the squish. It's a squishy, and you can squish it all the way down, and it'll slowly pop back out to an ice cream cone. It's actually pretty neat to watch. But if you can find a small one of those, something just to squeeze, give you that sensation of kind of working something. You know, when I was holding onto the cart, like I said, I was just like rolling that like plastic piece that's on the cart. I was rolling it back and forth. Some of them you can, some of them you can't. I was just kind of rolling it and trying to give myself some movement, something to focus on. You know, okay, that's moving, or that sort of thing. And so if you can have something to do like that with your hand, now again, if you're using the cane or the guide dog, your hand might not be there. If you're using the cane, you might want to just hold the rubber end, the handle, and kind of just work around it with your hand. Don't rub it too hard and you rub it off, but you know, work with your hand. If you got your guide dog, maybe take the leash and kind of just work it with your hand, and that'll help the leather, you know, break down anyway. So, you know, just find something to work. That way you're getting some focus on something else other than all this crowd around you. That's the idea. Sometimes you feel a little unfocused, a little chaotic, and that'll give you at least a sense of focus. So that's just a few tips for you guys. Again, none of it's going to magically make the panic attack go away, because that's just how it goes. And so I want to say a couple last things as I conclude here. First of all, if you're experiencing multiple panic attacks a week or especially a day, please see somebody for it. Whether it's a therapist, whether it's a counselor, something like that. You might need medical intervention. You might need some anxiety medication. You might just need some counseling. You might need a lot of different things. I don't know what it is, because I'm on this other side of the camera, but you might need some support. So please, if you're experiencing anything like this on a regular basis, see somebody for it. Please do that, because that really will help you out in finding specific tactics, like I mentioned, and maybe specific ones for you, you know, in your everyday kind of life. And I also want to say that being in a crowd of people, some people just don't like crowds anyway. I really enjoy people. I love people. I love hanging around people, talking to people. I'm a social person. I love being out. So it doesn't matter whether you hate crowds or you love crowds for the sociability part. When you're visually impaired, especially within the first couple of years, and I mean, I've been visually impaired for well over 16 years now, I still kind of get that like tightening in my chest, and you know, when I notice, and it doesn't happen all the time, but occasionally it does. And it's just probably going to happen when you're visually impaired, because you're unable to focus on certain things. People are passing. If you don't, quote, look blind, then they won't be aware of you and all this sort of thing. So I just encourage you that if you're having those moments, don't feel bad. Don't be shocked. Don't feel like, what's wrong with me? We all have those moments. And if you're experiencing a lot of them on a regular basis, please seek a specialist in your area so you can find help and support. All right, so my question for you guys today is pretty simple. Have you ever experienced something like this? We can call it a panic attack, an anxiety attack, a feeling anxiety, you know, whatever you want to call it. Have you experienced this being in a crowd of people, wherever it may have been, grocery grocery store or at a concert or whatever? Have you experienced this? And if so, how did you deal with it? I'd love to hear about it, and I know others would as well, so let me know in the comments below. Hey, if you liked this video, if you found it helpful, well, make sure to show your support and give it a big thumbs up and share it out with somebody that you know. And like I said, if you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another single video. And turn on notifications so YouTube will let you know every time I release a new video. Thanks so much for watching wherever you are, and until next time, remember that sight loss isn't the end, it's just the beginning. My name's Derek Daniel from LifeAfterSightLoss.com, and I'll see you in the next one.